Who's your commander?
Good luck.
Equip.
Move to combat.
Resolves.
Now, before you attack
Does
me,
anyone have an answer?
well played.
Good game.
Hello everyone, DJ here. This is the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel, and I want to take a first look at the amazing commander cards coming out in Core 2021. Let's start off with cards released on June 4th. That's Double Vision and Mangara the Diplomat. Double Vision is 3 red for an enchantment. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Double Vision is solid. I don't like how difficult it is to get value as you cast multiple spells each turn. I mean, we have Thousand Year Storm, which is crazy. It just cascades off of multiple spells and you get multiple copies over and over again. And so Double Vision feels flat to me. I want to cast tons of spells each turn. I don't just want to double up the first one. So I kind of feel like there are better cards for Commander than Double Vision, specifically in Spellslinger decks. I mean, you have to be really critical in Spellslinger decks about the cards that aren't spells. That means I might rather play a card like Bonus Round, which doubles all my spells for a single turn, rather than an enchantment because it's a spell itself. It's like I can tutor it with like Mystical Tutor. I can sort of proc the things I want to with it. So I don't know, Double Vision might fall a little bit short for me. Mangara the Diplomat is something I am excited about. 3 and a white for a legendary creature human cleric with lifelink, 2/4. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalker you control, draw a card. Okay, 2 creatures come at you, you draw a card. 1 creature, you're fine. Same thing with card draw. If an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. So 1 spell is okay, 2 spells, you get to draw a card. I like punishing your opponents for drawing cards or attacking you. This has me thinking of one of my preview cards. It was a blue enchantment, and whenever they attacked you with a bunch of creatures, you drew a card. I know it can feel a little bit underwhelming when you're getting attacked by a bajillion creatures in this big alpha strike and you're like, well, I'll take my card, but it's just a deterrent. I love that this has that extra clause added on of just when they cast their second spell, because Commander is about like double spelling all the time. You want to ramp into sort of being able to double spell, and whenever you're taxing your opponents from that, it's going to be really, really good. It stinks that just like you don't get to draw another card off their third spell and another card off their fourth spell. So I think that this might be pretty limiting in terms of a commander, but I think it could find a place in some sort of taxation decks, especially if there's a little bit of a lifelink thing involved, because it's got lifelink. All right, let's talk about Spark Hunter Masticore. Awesome Masticore, 3 mana, 3/4. Masticores have not been staples of our format because they've got this clause, just whenever to cast them, you got to discard a card. Ugh, it's like such a huge cost for us. And also, they're usually pretty aggressively costed. This is a 3 mana, 3/4, just phenomenal on its curve, especially if you can ramp into it because it's generic mana. But for us, I don't know, like it's going to be outclassed so quickly. Protection from Planeswalkers, solid. 1 mana sunk into it, 1 damage to target Planeswalker, and Spark Hunter gains indestructible until end of turn. That is solid because it doesn't just, you know, avoid Planeswalkers. It can sort of outlast board wipes and really tangle with combat really well. So I think that Spark Hunter Masticore could be an inclusion if you are facing down a really Planeswalker heavy meta. I mean, just imagine if someone has a Super Friends deck and you're like, okay, I got this Spark Hunter Masticore. I'm going to sink 5 mana into it and then kill your Planeswalker. Now that's not efficient, but that ability made up for the card you lost with Spark Hunter Masticore to begin with. Baneslayer Angel is really solid. I think it was kind of expensive. Like, look, $6 and $7. Yeah, let's get that down to, why is it $10 now? Pfft. Anyways, get that down to like $4 and start throwing it in Angel decks. Awesome. Let's take a look at Peer into the Abyss, a 7 mana black sorcery, just the big black sorcery. Let's take a look at it. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library, loses half their life, round up each time. Okay, so I draw 50 cards for 20 life. This is just so over the top. Black has some amazing card draw, and I have a feeling that you can change life for cards way more efficiently than with pure Into the Abyss. Necropotence comes to mind, where you can pay 20, draw 20, and really the black pips are what's really inhibits you with Necropotence. And so sometimes, I don't know, this is a lot of mana, so that basically you have to cast it, and then what are you doing afterwards? You know what I mean? Okay. We got Liliana, Waker of the Dead. There's 3 of them, but you know, we're going to talk about versions of cards in a second. 4 CMC, 4 loyalty, +1. Each player discards a card. Each opponent who can't loses 3 life. Okay, we've done the +1 Liliana. Everyone discards a card. I like that it has this life loss thing tacked onto it, but that's not something that we're, you know, in love with. You know, we're not playing 5 mana Liliana just for the discard. Okay. -3. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. Conditional removal. Again, we have 4 mana Liliana, and we're not really ticking that down. That's more of like card draw for swamps. Liliana of the Dark Realms. Okay. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. That is an amazing ultimate, but you don't really judge a planeswalker by their ultimate. I can see how this coming down on 4 pressures people way more than a original Liliana Vest that comes down on 5 and ticks up. So I can see this being pretty powerful, but maybe not in Commander, because there's too much that can impact it. There's too much that can come down after it. And ultimately, as soon as you play this, you're going to get your value out of it, because it's each player discards a card, so you're discarding 2, you are ticking up. I don't know. I like that it says each player discards a card, but each opponent who can't loses 3 life. That's pretty funny. Okay, let's go on to the Planeswalker I'm incredibly excited about. All bajillion of them, which let's click on the full art one right here. Faerie, Master of Time. Look, poor people who have to code these websites. Like, how many different versions of this stupid card are there going to be? Okay. Faerie, Master of Time is a 4 mana planeswalker, 2 blue. It's got 3 loyalty, and you may activate loyalty abilities of Faerie, Master of Time on any player's turn anytime you could cast an instant. What? That is crazy. In multiplayer, that means that you're going to be activating Faerie like in a 4-player game 4 times per turn. That's crazy. What are these abilities? Tick up, draw a card, then discard a card. That is very good. That filtering is amazing. Okay, -3, target creature you don't control phases out. Phasing is a hilarious ability, and you can do this at instant speed. So literally, you're just waiting, and if someone decides to attack you, you're like, I'll phase out that creature, you know, if you can't handle it. Otherwise, you're just like, all right, I tick up, and you draw a card and discard a card. So you tick up on your turn, it gets to 4. Next player's turn 5, 6, 7, and around on your turn it's up to 8 loyalty if no one can answer it, and it comes down on 4. Oh my gosh. And then, by the way, this ultimate can be activated at instant speed too. So let's just say you can survive one time around the table, just one time around the table. Before it comes to your next turn, you're taking a time stretch. Take 2 extra turns after this one. Faerie is gross. Faerie is gross. Yeah. Love that it has phasing. I don't know what I think about just the bajillion different versions of it. I don't know what I think about all the different versions. There's just so many different versions, and there's so much bling attached to all of this. And usually I like bling, but it's feeling a little bit overwhelming. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more later. We got a looter, tutelage. Tutelage is great because it's just another piece of the puzzle. Whenever Teferri's tutelage enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent mills 2 cards. Okay, so first off, they just used mills on a magic card. They just used mills. This is the first time they've done it. They've actually created a keyword off of just slang that has existed in Magic. Good for them. They need to do that. Everyone calls it mills anyways. And so when you use the language and a new player's like, what is this? And you have to explain it. Yeah, now it's a keyword. Yeah, all right. Okay. I wish it didn't say target. I wish everyone milled, you know, opponents mill. But also this draws you a card. So this isn't just like some of the other ones where you draw and they mill too, like Sphinx's tutelage and stuff like that. So the mill deck continues to get these enchantments that can sort of accrue, basically mill as your accruing value. Love that it draws a card. Okay. Faerie's Ageless Insight. 2 blue for a legendary enchantment. If you would draw a card except for the first one you draw on each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. Oh, this is really, really solid. If you have a deck that's built around drawing cards, then you can just draw tons of them. This could be combined with your commander. Just imagine if this is just combined with Faerie. Anything dealing with looting, suddenly this is like really, really powerful. Ultimately, this is still another do-nothing enchantment, but I mean, it's going to replace itself pretty quickly if it's in the right commander deck. Okay, there's the Masticore full art. This is Faerie, the Inseparable. 1 red, green, white that's a Naya commander for a 4/4 legendary, a dog cat. Whenever you cast a dog spell, create a 1/1 green cat creature token. Whenever you cast a cat spell, create a 1/1 white dog creature token. Red, green, white, tap, Faerie, Inseparable, deals damage equal to the number of dogs you control. You gain life equal to the number of cats you control. By the way, announcement that came along with this is that hounds are now dogs. So there are a ton of dogs in our format now. You can search them up and you can make a dog cat deck. Cats obviously are going to be carrying this deck. I mean, seriously, there's so many better cats out there and there are already cat decks. So basically you'll have to look at your cat decks and say, okay, is this better than a borrow? You know, and honestly, yeah, it's creating 1/1s. That ability is really, really good. And the activated ability might not be amazing, but it's really solid. A borrow, big kitty cat, honestly, it's very aggressive. The Eminence ability is strong, but a lot of times you're not building the lowest to the ground cat deck. You're just putting the best cats in a deck. And so this feels like a commander that can reward you for just having the best cats rather than needing a deck that sort of curves out as aggressively as possible and uses that powerful Eminence ability. Good card, good commander card. I believe that this is the box topper, which is great because it's got, look, however you feel about box toppers, this is the perfect box topper because is it going to be used anywhere besides commander? No. Casual kitchen table, yeah. But it's got flavor and pizzazz and appeal, and that's what you want to get people into game stores. You know, like you want someone to be like, oh, you know what, yeah, I want the cat and dog, and you go in the game store and you buy it. I want the Godzilla. I think the Godzilla was another really good box topper that they did. I think they hit them right on the mark with those ones. You don't want Faerie as your box topper because then that drives the wrong traffic to the game stores. Trust me, I would love to have this, you know, $40 Faerie for free with my box, but I feel like the style of this sort of commander card really does belong in a box topper. Feels like Fire Song and Sunspeaker. You know, that's. I felt like that was a really solid box topper. Okay. Containment Priest is a reprint. This is amazing. In fact, the reprints that I'm getting into are crazy. The reprints are so high in the set. This full art Containment Priest is amazing, and I mean, depending upon your playgroup, this is a commander staple. So, and it was getting a little bit pricey. Not really. $2, $3. Oh, they had an Omnicat invocation, which if it wasn't for the border, I would love that invocation. But look at that art. This is my new favorite right there. All right, let's get into the hard-hitting reprints. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. This is an amazing commander card because it can go in so many different decks. If it's in a colorless deck, it's just this insane board wipe that's one-sided for 8 mana. You can put it in decks that don't have ways to answer things, like you put it in a blue deck and it can wipe away cards like in a true board wipe fashion and leave your artifacts behind. I've really found Ugin the Spirit Dragon to be really versatile and worthwhile in a lot of decks that find themselves limited on ways to board wipe problematic permanents away. Now, the one thing that has me torn about Ugin, like just slam dunk inclusion, like go for it. But I am torn about just the number of arts that are made now. I kind of wish that this cool box topper blue art just looked a little bit different. Like it looks so similar to this green one, but it also looks so similar to this other like promo. I know my face is in the way. There are these promo ones, and like Ugin, I know I feel like it used to be special, and now there's like 5 or 6 different Ugins that are, I mean, look at this one. This one was this crazy Ugin's Fate promo. And I felt like this was supposed to be like the collector's Ugin, the slam dunk Ugin, and everyone's like, people are excited about it. And then, you know, everyone sort of gets their version of Ugin that they want. And there's all these, I don't know, different looking ones. I just feel like it detracts from the coolness of some of the promos, and it just kind of gets lost. But I don't know. You need to tell me what you think about all of these new promo cards. But the inclusion of Ugin the Spirit Dragon is like, yes, awesome. Same thing goes with Azusa Lost But Seeking. Azusa Lost But Seeking is insane in Commander. 2 and a green for a 1/2 legendary human monk. You may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. That is a crazy amount of land drops. This is an incredibly powerful creature. I mean, I'm so happy because the prices of it were very, very high. Look, Masters 25 was $30. There was this, the oversized one was $23. But all the way back to Champions, man. Part of me also I was a little bit annoyed that Masters reprinted the same art from the Judges. I'm like, look, Judges should have their own cool Judge card that has its own unique art, and then reprint it, but reprint it with this old original art right here, or make it new. Now it feels like with this sort of full art, you know, one right here, like where's the specialness for the Judge card that the Judges worked so hard on, and you know, that a lot of people, you know, collected and really enjoyed. Okay, but Azusa Lost But Seeking, insane reprint, totally excited about it. Let's skip Vito to go to the other crazy reprint of Grimm Tudor. Oh my gosh. Now, this is not the best of tutors, but it was one of the best we had available. 1 black for sorcery. Search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library, you lose 3 life. I think this is going to be expensive. The reason why is because this is the old version, starter 99. Oh my gosh, it's over 20 years old. White border only, has a star on it. It's like crazy. I guess this is an online printing. I don't know why first edition was only white border. I guess it's because starter was like a white border set only. But Grimm Tudor was used in a lot of different situations. Like I have Grimm Tudor in my cube because like it, you know, you need a certain saturation of tutors, and this is the next best tutor. And so I have a feeling that Grimm Tudor is going to be used a lot more. The problem is that if it's sitting at $60, no, people aren't going to use it. What I think is going to happen is that the price is going to be very high, but then people are going to realize that it's not that good, and it's not, and it's going to land somewhere in between. You know, Diabolic Tutor, 2 black, just find a card, is not good. It's honestly not that good. And so I would just say don't play it. And so Grimm Tudor might be on the edge there where you're like, I don't know. It's just so much mana. The 3 life doesn't matter very much, but I think that it's not going to be worth its $60 price tag. Okay. There are a few more reprints up here that are really cool, but I actually want to go back down to a new legend, Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. I love that there's more people from the Dusk Rose. They're my favorite, although I'm a little bit sad that he's not giving us the Monarch. Okay, but Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose is a legendary vampire cleric. It's a 1/3. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Whoa! This is like straight out of Sanguine Bond explicit blood combo territory. This goes infinite in so many different situations. It also has an activated ability. 3 black, creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. Wow. So this could be used in an attacking capacity, where you just like attack with all your creatures, and if your opponent takes damage, you give them all lifelink, and then they take double damage because Veto's going to be, as you gain all that life, Veto's going to be dealing that much damage too. This could also be just a game, like a player along with like maybe a black-white life gain deck, or maybe even a mono-black life gain deck. There's tons of ways to gain life, and then suddenly you're dealing tons of damage to your opponents. I mean, just think about something like Kukusho, where you drain for 15, you gain 15, but oh wait, someone takes another 15. Or something like not Torment of Hailfire, Exsanguinate, man. Just imagine you exsanguinate the table for 5, and then again, you're hitting someone else for 20. It's crazy. So Veto can really weaponize a lot of the life gain in here. It's I'm glad that it's mono black, because if you want to build around it, you're going to have to be restricted. Otherwise, it's going to go in a ton of different black-white life gain decks. Great. Just a great card to have. Okay. Rune Halo's a reprint. Solid. Look at this island, man. This island is like the Faerie island, and it is cool. I think it's cool. It's not my favorite, but I like when they experiment with the art on stuff. Fierce Empaths, a great reprint. This, I remember it being a good card. Dementor's Prey. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 3 or less. I am excited about that. Just the Oko killer. I don't know, it's not going to be good in our format really, but I think it's really cool that this kill spell, honestly, it's a really good answer for so many different formats. And if you are playing on the more aggressive end of things, this might answer every creature and every planeswalker you want it to. So definitely a thing to keep a lookout for. Indulging Patrician. This is a 1/4 vampire with flying and lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, each opponent loses 3 life. So this is not the same as Veto, where, you know, however much life you gain, they lose that much life. But this is something, again, that you can trigger over and over and over again in a deck like Soul Sisters. And in fact, you know, you have the black-white color combination. So if you have a Karlov, for example, and you're designed your deck to gain like, you know, 2 or 3 life every single turn, bam, you include this Patrician in there, and then suddenly you're draining your opponents too. These next cards are the Planeswalker deck cards. So Planeswalker deck card, you know, 6 mana, 6 mana, 6 mana, 6 mana. So, and 6 mana. Garrick's back. That's cool. Okay, but we're going to skip all of those, and we're going to go all the way up here to Chromatic Orrery. 7 mana for a legendary artifact. You may spend mana as though or mana of any color. Add 5 mana to your mana pool. 5 tap, draw a card for each color among permanents you control. I think this is pretty straightforward. It's a very overcosted mana rock. It fixes your mana, which is very cool. And it's a very overcosted draw. You know what? Commander's about doing big things, and this is the biggest rock out there. So I have a feeling a lot of people, when they play this, they're going to be able to launch into doing bigger things. And honestly, if you can go from 7 mana to 13 mana, yeah, you're going to be doing pretty powerful things. And if no one messes with you or blows this up, and you can handle, you know, sinking 5 mana into this thing and tapping it, giving up 5 mana to draw at maximum 5 cards. Again, if no one's interrupting that and you have that many resources, then you're gonna get something, you're gonna find something to do. This is very over the top. And I think that if no one messes with you, you'll be fine. But I expect people to punish you for taking that much time off to play big splashy mana rocks. I'm a big fan of this card. Gadrak, the Crown Scourge. 2 in a red for a 5/4 flying dragon? Okay, there's a catch. Gadrak, the Crown Scourge, can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts. That's not that hard, honestly. By the way, it can still block, you know, so this can come down and defend you. And then you just work your way up to the key amount of artifacts you need to attack. And artifacts are something that you can just put onto the battlefield so easily. At the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. Okay, so basically this is gonna pay off for you like smashing creatures into them. I know that it says each non-token creature, which stinks because the way that I would plan on get artifacts is using like servos and thopters and stuff like that. But you know, this could get you 2 or 3 treasures a game while it's out. And then that means that this is a pretty good card. I think it's definitely limiting that you can't guarantee to be attacking with it on turn 4, but I mean, the cost is just so good and this can smash so easily. I mean, I'm going to put it in my aggressive Mardu artifact stack. Okay, this good boy, pack leader. Other dogs you control get +1/+1. An anthem for 2 mana. Yeah, like we love anthems for 2 mana. Like basically that is the push behind Merfolk, is that their lords cost 2 mana and that is very good. A lot of other lords these days cost 3 mana, you know, and then sometimes when you have to get a lord like the vampire lord from Ixalan, you know, sometimes you can get those, but you know, really a lot of the lords come in at 3 mana or 4 mana. The problem is that this is dogs. You know, how supported it is the dog tribe. Whenever pack leader attacks, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn to dogs you control. Now hang on, this is a 2-drop that pumps other 2-drops that can attack with impunity. Not just like all combat damage that would be dealt to dogs. Like you can just attack in with your dogs, including your pack leader. Like they can just tangle in combat at all times. Like this is surprisingly good. Like surprisingly good. The reason why this can be so good is that there are just no dogs out there. Like if you want to make a deck, like you want to make like a white stompy deck, you go Isamaru on turn 1, pack leader into turn 2, you have a 3/3 slamming in. This isn't even legendary. You just start playing more and more pack leaders, and then suddenly you just have this amazing dog aggro deck. I'm not even talking about commander. That's amazing. I actually think that this is the next good card. Llanowar Visionary. 2 and a green for a Llanowar elf and an Elvish Visionary just slapped together. When Llanowar Visionary enters the battlefield, draw a card, tap to add 1 green to your mana pool. Okay, in every other format, this is like, oh man, we do not want our mana dorks to be on 3. We barely want them to be on 2. 1 is where we really want them. But in Commander, like we've got a little bit more flexibility when it comes to ramping into bigger things. Very few of us are ramping into 3-drops, we're ramping into 6-drops. And Llanowar Visionary helps us get there and replaces itself. So you're not losing too much along the way. I expect this to be a really cheap card. And so I think that you can jam this in a bunch of different green decks and honestly not feel bad about it at all. All right, just a couple more cards to touch upon. Shipwreck Dowser. This just has a little bit better stats than the 2 blue Archaeomancer, Anachromancer. Anyways, the 2/2 that gets stuff back for 4. This is a 3/3 with prowess for 5. And so this might actually be able to tangle. And sometimes we run out of this effect. Like we want more copies of get a thing back, even if it costs 1 extra mana. I'm skipping to this weird thing. Book of Big Brain Memes. 2 mana artifact, a cheap artifact. You can tap it to scry and you put a page counter on it. And then you can do 2 and tap to draw a card and put a page counter on it. That's okay. So basically, if you think about it, on the installment plan, this is 4 mana for 1 card, you know, 6 mana for 2 cards, 8 mana for 3 cards, you know, 10 mana for 4 cards, and then you gain 4 life. So you have to want the artifact, you have to want the installment plan, you have to want the flexibility of being able to scry. I think there's a lot of decks that do want artifacts, want scrying ability, and I have some of those decks. So I'm definitely going to use this artifact for a few of them, even though the rate of the card draw isn't really good. I'm using it for it being an artifact. The thing that stinks though, exile it and you gain 4 life. Oh, I don't want to exile this. I want to put it in my graveyard and get it back again and keep scrying and drawing over and over again. All right, just a few more. I actually think that this whale is sneaky good. Okay, so it's a 7/7 for 7 and you nerf your opponent's creatures. That effect, creatures your opponents control get -1/-0. So annoying. So annoying, especially annoying in limited. But it's just a crazy, okay. But then again, we have a 1 blue, discard the whale, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So it's this like filtering effect. It's pretty cool. Like, it's a more expensive sleight of hand kind of thing. I don't know. I think that it's worthwhile to be able to put stuff in your graveyard. It's worthwhile to get a 7/7 in your graveyard, get some selection. I think that there are decks that will play this, and I don't even think it's that bad. So I think that this could be a really good discount card for a lot of different decks. I'm excited about it. Okay, and I know I skipped through a few of them, but those are the highlights. That's the core 2021. There's going to be more cards coming out as this video is being posted. The highlights, Mungar the Diplomat. I mean, we're always excited about new legendary creatures, so that's definitely a highlight. But Faerie is sort of by far the most powerful card. Crazy effect, because we know Time Stretch being a 10 CMC card is insane. I love that they have mill as a keyword. That's crazy. Reprints galore. We got Ugin, Azusa, and Grimm Tudor. Ooh, crazy. But the thing that I think is going to make the most splashes is just Veto. Veto is so good and is a unique new legendary creature. I'm a super big fan of Veto. And then some of the other cards are like good for a lot of different decks, even though they might not be too splashy for Commander. All right, tell me in the comments down below what you think about this style of video, the fact that I'm reviewing Commander, previews at all. Tell me what you think about that. Give me the thumbs up if you like this kind of video. Tell me what you think is the standout card of these. And, I skipped some of them. So tell me if you think that Guadana Maleficia is the best card. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank Cool Stuff Inc. because they support me. I want to thank my patrons because they super support me. And you guys support me too by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.